Welcome back to Krystle Clear. Today I am sitting down with Arianna Alford, a Texas native with a master's in special education who once worked closely with children on the autism spectrum and then made a bold pivot into real estate here in Austin. We talk about what she learned from her time in the autism community, how she found the confidence to reinvent her career, and the discipline behind her bodybuilding journey. This episode is about trusting yourself, leaning into growth, and choosing the life you want, one decision at a time. Ariana, thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today.
How old are you?
29.
Okay, I was going to say, I think you are my youngest guests that I've had on the podcast. Natalie was, I think, 28 when she came on. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you and Natalie are like my youngest.
Okay, sweet. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's an honor then.
I know. I'm so excited. You like inspired me in so many different ways. We've only known each other a couple of
Yeah.
years. You reached out, you're on my team at Compass, and you reached out about getting into real estate. So obviously we know each other like professionally, and I know that you made the transition from your former career into, being entrepreneur, self-employed.
Yes.
And so I'm like, God. And then of course your bodybuilding journey, which is like insanity. I am so impressed by your journey. And so I'm like, I have to have her on. I want to talk about it. I want to share it with people. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. I mean, those are parts of my life that I love sharing with people. And if it can inspire, or it can give people like the motivation to go after, maybe it's not the same things that I'm doing, but to go after really what it is that you want to do, then like let's do it. And I say more power to you.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's get into it. Okay. So autism and special education.
Mhm.
What drew you to specialize in autism and developmental disabilities?
So, going through college, I was actually a dance major, which is so funny because, like, I have just kind of ping ponged from different places wherever it has felt most natural for me to go. And during that time, it was COVID. And I was like, okay, I need to go in a different direction. And I know that mental health is such a big concern to me and like something that I really want to focus in on. But like, what space do I want to do it
Mhm.
in? So, as I was in my final years of college, I started seeing a career counselor and telling them, hey, this is what my degree's in. However, this is the space I want to go in. Where should I go? Do you have any advice for me? And they had told me, I think a good stepping stone would be for you to go and try ABA out.
Mhm.
I had never heard of it. And for those of you who don't know, ABA is applied behavior analysis. And this is a certain type of therapy that families will do for their children who are on the spectrum that really just helps them with behavioral skills. Maybe they're having troubles with certain behaviors and they're just really trying to make sure that they are ready to go into the school
Mhm.
setting. So that was like what my job was.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
my nephew, I think I've shared with you, is on the spectrum. He's nonverbal.
Mhm.
He is 12 years old and he's at Forest Creek. Well, he was at Forest Creek Elementary. Now he's, I believe, Cedar Ridge Middle School. So, but he
Right.
still continues to go to ABA therapy. So I'm pretty familiar with it.
Yeah. And it's crazy too because it's like, sometimes we have kids like that where it's or we did, sorry. I don't work in the field anymore,
Mm.
but yeah, where they'll do a little bit of therapy at the centers and then they go into the school settings and then they slowly kind of transition out. So it seems like he's at that point where he is still kind of having it involved and then
Mhm.
maybe eventually down the road like he won't need it anymore.
Yeah, I think so. My sister's primary focus right now is on spelling to communicate.
Mhm.
So she is currently getting certified herself. And then she's of course teaching her son how to do it. So the goal right now is, with the letter board,
Yeah.
which is incredible. He's brilliant. But really the ABA also to help kind of with the fine motor, so he can control like his body more because
Yes.
it's a mind body disconnect right now. So she's trying to improve his motor function. She's actually a physical therapist.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So she's really focused on that and then wants to of course bring it into like the school system because they don't really believe in like spelling to communicate. And she's like, this is presume competence in my child.
Yeah.
Like, he's brilliant. Just because he cannot speak doesn't mean he shouldn't be getting education at his level, at his age. Presume competence in my kid. Like, and so her primary focus is getting him to be able to communicate.
Yeah.
So, spelling to communicate, which will then transition into, hopefully an iPad, and he'll be able to fully express and communicate himself. So, what did working with neurodivergent kids teach you about communication and connection?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I learned so much from all of the babies that I worked with and just being in that field in general. Growing up, I feel like I came from a household where you weren't taught to express your emotions and your feelings and things. And so like me growing up, I worked with children, in the dance community. And it was like if a child cried, I really didn't know how to like navigate that as a college student.
Mm,
So coming into these settings, it was so nice because I think it taught me a lot in how I want to move if one day I do get to become a parent, because we learned how to do things, and something that was really big for us was compassionate care.
mhm.
So just really understanding that yes, we want to be able to get these children the skills that they need, but these are also tiny little humans that have very big feelings and emotions. So I learned how to just navigate those and help a child figure out, like, okay, like it seems like we're really upset right now. Like, what things can we do to help us calm down right now? Okay, let's go and do that for a little bit. Then we'll come back to this work.
Mhm.
But it is so important that we still do it. So for me, I learned a lot about emotional regulation
Mhm.
and just being able to kind of navigate how to do that, not even just for a child who's on the spectrum, but for myself
Right.
and then for other individuals that I come into contact with
Yeah.
too. So very, very eye-opening.
Were you working with like early intervention when kids were just barely getting diagnosed, or kind of across the board age ranges?
Yeah, so I was across the board. I worked from kids anywhere from ages, I believe the youngest was maybe 3,
Okay.
and then the oldest was 13.
Okay.
And I, as I grew in this, kind of leaned more towards the earlier
Mm.
developmental, like 3 to 6 year old kids. I loved being goofy with them and just
Mhm.
like I had all the energy to do it all the time with them because they require a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And did they, I mean, imagine you had all different kids that were on the spectrum. Did you have any that were nonverbal?
Yes, I
Okay.
did actually. So it was really cool because that's another aspect too. Like you talked about the iPad, and I'm trying to remember because oh my gosh, it's been so
Mhm.
long. The platform that they use for them to kind of like say what they want
Mhm.
and desire. Gosh, what was that called? Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
Oh,
Yeah.
the fact that I can't think of it. But basically, yeah, I did have children who were nonverbal, and then just all kinds of different kids, really.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. It's off, it's very like near and dear to my heart. And I feel like there's just so many opinions and minimal resources, for so many parents. And so it's important thing to talk about, because it can be so isolating, I feel, for so many parents.
Mhm.
So what do you wish more people understood about autism and supporting these families?
Ugh. I think the biggest takeaway for me, if I could tell you one thing, is to just give grace. You never know what an individual is going through. And for families who have children who are on the spectrum, this is another thing that they have to learn how to navigate. Having a kid alone
Right.
is just so much work.
Challenging. Yes.
Yeah. So then having a child on the spectrum, it's like, okay, like they're the things that they are trying to overcome and the challenges that they are facing are so different,
Right.
and they're just trying to figure it out along the way. So be sure that you're giving grace to honestly anyone that you come in contact with. Like that is just so crucial and so important. And these children, just because they may have things that are a little bit off or things that don't seem like the norm, doesn't mean that they aren't special.
Mhm.
These children that I've worked with in the past are highly intellectual.
Oh, yeah.
They have their certain skills, they have their little niches that they're all about.
Mhm.
Like, I remember this one kid that I worked with, he was all about space. if I brought up the topic of space, this man could tell me 500 different facts about like the planets, the stars, and things like that. And I was like, yeah, you know what, buddy? You got this. Like,
Yeah.
this is great. This is incredible.
Yeah, a lot of these children are brilliant, like have
Yes.
higher IQs than the rest of us. They just can't, maybe express themselves fully, or some of them are nonverbal. And so I'm really proud of my sister because she's advocating so much for her
Good.
son, and then hopefully for other children to give them a voice, because they are like this individual trapped inside their own bodies,
Hmm.
and they're brilliant, and they just can't express themselves. And I think it's very important for the rest of society to
Yes.
see them as such. And just like my sister says, I think the biggest thing is like presume competence
Yeah.
in these children, whether they can communicate or not. So, and
Mhm.
I love for my son that he's growing up around that
Uh,
too. It's a norm for him, to see my nephew and to like know that there are children out there that maybe not be able to communicate, or just do different things, and they're like totally normal. And I think the more children can get exposure to that and
mm,
acceptance of that, the better. So, yeah, I love that you did that work.
yeah.
But speaking of, let's talk about a career pivot into real estate.
Yes.
So, what made you decide to transition out of behavior therapy into real estate?
So that journey kind of came after I did my first bodybuilding competition, which we'll get into that a little bit later, but just to give an overall spiel, once I got done with that bodybuilding journey, I it gave me so much confidence and gave me just this big belief in myself that I did a hard thing and I can continue doing hard things. And I remember being in my field of ABA, and I have so much respect for the people who stay in that field and continue to
Mhm.
do the work that they do, because it is a big challenge emotionally, physically,
Right.
mentally for like what you do. And I just knew at that point that I wanted a job where how hard I worked would be what I would get compensated for. And so I took time off and I said, you know what? As much as I love this field and love what I'm doing, I just cannot picture this being my life for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
And if one day I want to have kids and a family and be able to do these things, like, am I going to be able to give all of this effort to these children over here and my child over
Right.
here in the same capacity? So I had to do a lot of thinking and just a lot of soul searching for a couple of months while I took a break. And when it came down to it, I started interviewing more and more people who were in real estate. It was either going to be real estate or sales,
Mhm.
some sort of medical device sales, I think
Okay.
was another thing that I was exploring.
Mhm.
But the more I talked with people in the real estate industry, they told me how challenging it was and how difficult it may
Mhm.
be, but it is very rewarding.
Right.
And I was like, sounds like my bread and butter.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was, I'm trying to think of when that was. That was like 3 years ago,
It was I think it was 2 years ago,
two
because 'cause
years
I'm
ago.
about to hit my 2-year
Okay.
mark at the end of
That's
this
it?
month.
Oh my God, it
Mhm.
feels like I've been like 3 years. Girl, this has been the longest, like most difficult, challenging years
Yes.
ever professionally for me.
Mhm.
And so there's something to be said about you guys that like are getting started in this freaking market is
Yeah. Oh
crazy.
my gosh, yes, and that was the other thing too, like, I knew it was gonna be a challenge, and coming in, like, people said that, I was like, "Yeah, yeah, okay."
Hmm.
And I remember coming to you after, like, 1 year of being in this space and, like, just crying and being
Yeah.
like, Uh, did I make a mistake?
Yeah.
Like, is it me? Like, what is going on? Like, I'm just sitting here, like, trying to figure out what to
Yeah.
do. But it really has been a challenge in the real estate realm, at least in Austin,
Yeah,
for
I
a
think
lot of us.
nationwide. And what's interesting is Austin's kind of like resilient
Yeah.
compared to the rest of the nation, because we have, an influx of people forever moving here now with like it was tech, and then now it's also kind of Hollywood,
Mm.
there's more films coming in, but Austin's always been fairly resilient, but I think Austin also has felt it the most at the same time.
Yeah.
because we had such a crazy boom during COVID
Mhm.
that we've probably had the biggest fall from grace real estate wise since then.
Yeah.
So there's definitely something to be said about like when things change, because they will, what goes up must come down.
Mhm.
Things are definitely going to start picking up, and you've done deals here and there, and I feel like you're going to be like, oh my God, this is like so different and so easy, and like, oh, this is what it was supposed to be like versus
Yeah.
this grind of what it is. Do you feel like Natalie and I set pretty realistic expectations for you whenever you started?
Oh my gosh, 100% yes. And like looking back at it now, yes. In the moment, I was like, okay, it is whatever. Like I'll be able to deal with it and handle
Yeah.
it. And I was like, I'm glad that they gave me that talk in the beginning because yes, it was hard. But that's the thing. Like you said, things that go up must come down. And if I can get through a period of something that is really hard and challenging, it's going to make it even more worthwhile for whenever business does pick up more and more for us.
So, what did you learn about yourself during this shift?
Oh my gosh, what did I learn about myself during this shift? Something that I learned during this time was that discipline is going to take you so much further than motivation ever will.
That's good.
Yeah. And, I think that's something I experienced as an athlete and love it whenever it comes to the physical.
Mhm.
But whenever it came to the mental aspect of it and having it be applied into the career, I was like, oh my gosh, entrepreneurship is a lot more difficult and more challenging than I gave it credit for at the
Mhm.
time. So, yeah, just learning how to kind of set my days up and make sure that I'm holding myself accountable because at the end of the day, like this is a role where nobody's telling you what to do. Nobody's telling you how hard you have to work or the quotas that you have to meet.
Mhm.
And it's solely up to you on how hard you're going to grind and what you're going after. So that has been the adjustment for me.
And is that what you mean, like discipline versus motivation? Like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so just having the discipline to be like how we said in the beginning, it was very challenging and there wasn't a lot of work out there. So just figuring out ways and how I could stay consistent with being
Mhm.
like, okay, like are we doing marketing efforts? Am I getting out into the community? Am I going and seeing enough places? Am I checking in on my clients? Like having to navigate all of these things, some days I really did not want to do it.
Right.
But I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, these are the things that are going to help me be
Mhm.
successful. And as long as I keep it consistent, it's going to just become like habits that get built into me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true. And I mean, have you found that whenever you like really focus and you like put in a lot of work, you see the benefits of that and see the rewards of it? Like, are you directly noticing not an immediate, but like results from that time, energy, and effort when you're really like focused and put into your business?
Yeah, I would definitely say so because especially with being like in the space and just being able to be here in Austin, I feel like the more that I'm showing people that I am in the real estate realm, the more people who are reaching out to me and
Right.
having conversations and everything. But it's also so funny because whenever I go on my vacations as well, it seems like that's whenever people are
Oh, yeah.
reaching out to me too.
Well, you know what they say, you want to sell real estate, go on vacation. Have you
Yeah.
ever heard that saying before?
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, girl, it's like a thing. Like typically whenever you go out of town, like you get an offer on one of your listings, or like you have buyers that reach out and they want to look at properties and stuff. Yeah, that's totally has always been a saying in real estate.
Yeah.
You want to sell real estate, go on vacation. So it is been around forever. And what do you find? Do you feel like at this point, being 2 years in, do you feel like you have a niche, or do you feel like there's certain things that you like really enjoy doing over others, or you're a little more of an expert in this area versus another area?
Yeah, I would definitely say my bread and butter right now is in the apartment locating realm
Hmm.
and then the private lease listings. That's where a lot of my clients have come to me. And as I've been working with them, I've just gained a lot more knowledge about this area. And like what to look out for whenever it comes to leases and how to help them navigate deals.
Mhm.
And that has just been so rewarding. I like the short term a little bit
Mhm.
more than the buy sell side of things. So that is where I am just thriving right now.
Well, definitely like make sure you stay in touch with all of those people,
Mhm.
put them in your database because at the end of the day, like they may renew once or twice, but eventually they're probably going to buy.
Mhm.
So those lease clients, like a lot of them will definitely turn into buy clients and then also clients that are going to refer you, to their friends and their family if they're looking to lease a place or buy a place. So that's such a good way to build your pipeline and like have clients that'll last forever.
Mhm.
I mean, because people aren't buying every couple of years, right? But
Oh
they
yeah.
are like moving and renewing their leases, and then hopefully eventually they will buy.
Yeah.
So that's a great, like, kind of way to launch your career, especially in times like this. People always ask Natalie and I, do you do leases? And we're like, yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we do leases. Yeah, we do everything, especially in this market. Like
Oh
you're
yeah.
gonna go wherever the business takes you at the end of the day. So, what advice would you give to someone making a similar leap?
Ooh. The advice that I would give is take your time, trust your instincts. I think something that was really hard for me whenever I was figuring out if I even wanted to jump was that I had put so much time and effort into my career. I had been in the field in the industry for 2 or 3 years. I had gotten my master's.
Yeah.
I had accrued almost all of my hours. I was literally 100 hours from sitting for this board exam. And I kept telling myself, if I just get this to this next level, I will be happy. And I just wasn't recognizing in myself that I was not happy where I was at. And like, I just was like, I need to climb a ladder. At the end of the day, if you are in your 20s, 30s, even 40s or 50s, like it is okay for you to shift away to something that no longer serves you and no longer brings you fulfillment.
Mhm.
So I say go for it and trust your instincts.
And you're at such a young age to have made that career shift,
Mhm.
so that's really incredible, like
Yeah.
to be true to yourself. And I think so many people, they're comfortable and there's fear, and therefore they just stay,
Yes.
and they don't want to push themselves to grow. And so I think it's difficult enough to make like a career move, but to full blown into like entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
like essentially starting your business, because that's what it is. You are a brand. You, as an individual, you're your own brand, right? You're
Oh yeah.
promoting yourself in a service. And so to like make the leap and then to do it in a entrepreneur space, the self-employed
Mhm.
space. So I really commend you for that, whenever you like the content that you create, and it's really freaking great. So, continue. You do such a good job. And then, like you said, with parents and people, give individuals grace.
Oh yeah.
You have to give yourself grace too,
Mhm.
whenever you're self employed. Because some days, yeah, you're going to be highly motivated and you're going to grow and disciplined. And then some days you're like, shit, I just don't have it in me. And you actually have the luxury when you make your own schedule to give yourself a mental health day
Oh yeah, for sure.
like I'm freaking burnt out right now, and it's totally normal. And the burnout doesn't have to come because you've been doing it for a decade.
Yeah.
Burnout can literally come in 90 days of like
Mhm.
doing something whenever it comes. So you really have to learn to give yourself grace
Oh my
in that.
gosh,
Have you
yes.
learned that?
That is so funny because I literally just got done with therapy and I told her, I said, I think in this stage of life, I need to start understanding how to sit back in my feminine and give
Mhm.
myself grace from time to
Mhm.
time. And I was like, that's going to be my next mission, like the next thing that I focus on. So we're still learning that, learning how to navigate that because I am someone, whenever I say like I'm going to do something, it's like, all right, you have to go and do this. No excuses, nothing of the sort. And I'm like, no, like if we do that,
Mhm.
that's what leads to burnout. So some moments of rest, some moments of grace do need to be sprinkled in there from time to time.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so important. Okay, when are you going to be 30?
Next year, September
Oh, you
24th.
just had a
So I
birthday.
just
Okay,
turned
so you just
29.
turned 29. So
Yeah.
you are in your last year of being in your 20s. I'm
Mhm.
proud of you. You've accomplished a lot. Um, and you purchased your first home, right?
Yes.
That was this year.
That was a year and a
Okay,
half
year and a
ago.
half ago. And what was
Yes.
that experience like?
That was so exciting,
Yeah.
nerve-wracking. Like, I felt so many different emotions and questioned if it was the right move for me, but I am so happy living where I am right now.
And what about that decision were you like wondering if it was the right move or not?
Um, I think that because at the time with my previous partner,
Mhm.
we were talking about moving in together, and I knew that I had been having a savings to purchase a home,
Mhm.
and we were talking about living in apartments and getting into the real estate realm. I was just like, man, I feel like if I continue to just let this sit here, we're just throwing money down the funnel for whatever apartment we sign with. So I think it was just a nerve-wracking thing for me to be like, hey, I really want to do this, but will this other individual understand it and be okay and
Mhm.
comfortable with it as well too? So I think that was like a hard thing for me to navigate at the time, but now looking at it, I'm so happy that I have it.
Grateful,
Yes.
yeah, that you did, and you didn't let a relationship that you're not even in anymore,
Mhm.
dictate
Yeah.
like such an important decision. So, ladies, that's like a big takeaway, from this too. Like you always prioritize yourself,
Mhm.
like follow your because it seems like your intuition, like you knew in your heart, like I want to do this. This seems like the right decision, but I'm in a relationship. How's my boyfriend going to feel about it? And then you went for
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, like, always putting yourself first and making decisions and not waiting,
Yes.
for someone. You're single now.
Mhm.
How long have you been single?
Oh my gosh, since August.
Since
So,
August. Okay.
yes.
And how does it feel to be in your 20s and young and beautiful and in Austin? Austin's such a I don't have a ton of single friends. So we're, at this point, people are either like me, divorced
Yeah.
with children, or like married. I have just a couple of single friends. What's singles 20s like for you?
It has been, even though it's been 3 months, it's been so fun just like not even going back into the dating
Yeah.
scene, but really reconnecting with myself. Like, I feel like there's just this new spark in me that's like, now I can truly be myself, do anything that I want to
Mhm.
do, and go out and explore Austin. I'm a little bit nervous for dating just because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what is this going to be like?
Yeah.
But, I've been kind of dating around here and there, like nothing too serious.
Mhm.
So it's just really, really exciting. And yeah, I just don't even know what to say about it. Like, whatever happens,
Yeah.
happens. And dating is not at the forefront of my
Yeah.
mind. I think my relationship with God right now is like a really
Mhm.
big thing for me. But it's been fun because like there's so much to do out here, so much to
Yeah.
explore, and I'm like, I'm getting into all of it.
Yeah. Austin's such a fun city. I
Yes.
definitely find, I think women are like, get over typically breakups pretty fast,
Mhm.
especially when we're like already know like I don't know that this is like for me or working, and you're kind
Yeah.
of like because I feel like for a while you were like, oh, I don't know that this is like my forever person, and
Mhm.
so whenever you finally make that decision, it's like it's the best feeling in the world, right?
Oh, yeah.
You found freedom, but more for yourself, not because you get to go out there and
It'd
date,
be wild or
because
crazy,
yeah, you get to sleep real good at night without anyone's dusty sun stressing you out,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's so liberating, and then you can focus on what's really important: your family, your friendships, your faith, your
Mhm.
career. Like, ugh, there's so much just freedom in being happy and single, and
Yeah.
just focusing on yourself. It's the freaking
No,
best.
for sure. And I almost felt guilty for it for a little bit too. And so I talked with my therapist and I was like, hey, like, I've had people checking in on me and they're like, how are you doing? Are you fine?
Great.
And I'm like, I'm great.
Never better.
Yeah. And I asked her, I was like, Susan, should I feel bad
No,
that I'm saying this?
hell no.
Yeah.
I'm like that. I like almost can't even relate.
Yeah.
When I have friends that are like, and when Natalie and Jordan broke up for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
I was like, this bitch, she is killing me. She is taking this breakup harder than I did with my freaking divorce.
Yeah.
Like, I can't, which maybe I should go to therapy for, but I'm like,
Maybe
girl,
like a week of
I
like,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Feel it and then move on from it. Damn. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I have a friend too that's recently went through a breakup, and I'm just like, girl, tickety talk. Like, this mourning process. This is like far too long.
Yeah.
Let's move past it. And she finally is, and I'm like, see, doesn't it feel so much better to like
Yes.
be single and focus on yourself? And she's like, oh my God, I know. Like, this is amazing. I'm like, it took you a little long to get there, but everyone needs to
Everyone
go
has
through
their own timing with it though, too. So yeah.
so don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
Good for you. Rather than staying, because lots of people stay in it, and I'm just like, okay, can we get to like this part?
Yes.
Like where it's the freedom and the happiness and the
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm proud of you. I freaking love that for you.
Thank you.
Just saying. So let's talk about your body building journey. What inspired you to start bodybuilding?
So, back when I was in college, I used to love watching fitness entrepreneurs. There was this guy named Christian Guzman who owns Alpha Elite, the gym, and like the clothing brand. And then there was his girlfriend, Heidi Somners, who owns Buff Bunny. And
I remember Buff Bunny.
yeah. So I would watch their YouTube videos and I was like, oh my gosh, like they do bodybuilding. That's so cool. I want to do that. But I like to eat. I like to drink. I like to party. I'm in college. Like that's not gonna work for me, you know? So as I got older, I remember 2021, I was in my career, I was doing well, and I was like, you know what? I have no other responsibilities right now, and I'm just kind of here. Like, what am I working towards? And so that kind of reignited the spark to do it. And I said, you know what? With me not having any of these responsibilities, I think I need to go and do the bodybuilding competition and let's prove to ourselves that, I can do the hard things. And that's exactly what I did that year. I went through a bulk. I trained with a coach and competed in, I believe it was November of 2022. So that's kind of what started this whole journey for me.
Okay. So is this your second competition that you've done?
Yes.
Okay. So what do people not see or understand about the discipline it takes? Like I watched your whole journey and was blown away. Like people have no idea.
Yeah.
We would go to happy hour and this girl would at Lynn's Delicious, this girl would bring a Tupperware of her own food to like some of the yummiest restaurants, including your own birthday celebration.
Yeah.
Like, girl, what?
Oh man, yes. So some of the things that you don't see for athletes who are in this space is they are very disciplined and very regimented. It's basically a second job to be in a prep. So being able to track your meals, weigh everything out, go get your gym and cardio sessions in, the body work. There's a lot of behind the scenes that you don't ever get to see, and a lot of mental struggles that we go through, and a lot of life lessons that come along with that.
Like what?
I would say this year, one of my big life lessons was you can travel and you can enjoy life while still being in a prep and still staying true to what you said you were going to do. So a challenge that I faced this year whenever I was getting back into it with my coach was I was traveling to like Vegas and to the Philippines and like all of these different places. And every time I would go on a trip, like if something went wrong with my food, I would just say, oh, that's okay. Like, I guess I'll just eat off track and off plan and just try to be conscientious of it. And I went to my coach and I was like, hey, like, I'm having a really hard time. Like, why is this not working out? And he said, it's because you're not showing up as a bodybuilder. Like, you're just kind of doing your own thing and going off plan. So when he told me that he traveled almost every single weekend and still stayed on track with his workouts, brought all of his food everywhere, still went to the weddings and would eat, but enjoy the company that he was with.
Mhm.
I had to do a huge reality check on myself to
Yeah.
be like, okay, just because Krystle and the team are eating soup dumplings and I'm sitting here with my Tupperware doesn't mean that this isn't an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
So I don't want to miss out on life just because I have these goals that are set for myself.
Mhm.
So that was the big lesson this year.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I have friends that like have done the Whole 30 and they're like, yeah, I can't go. I'm like on Whole 30. I'm like, you're fucking lame
Yeah.
as hell, like, but they didn't want to put themselves in that position.
No, it's so true though.
So I like, that's incredible. The fact that you were like, I love that. You're like, I'm still going to show up and be around people that I want to and make memories and enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
Regardless even if that looks like me bringing, my own food to the restaurant.
Exactly. And the people who support you and love you, like, will understand that this is a goal for you.
Mm,
So if it's important to you, then it's important to them too, or it should be important to them as well, is what I always say. Because the hardest thing was like, I'm in real estate. I feel like eating and drinking is definitely a part of
of
our like
course.
world.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to do this? Are people going to look at me funny? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Now I bring that Tupperware everywhere
Hell
with
yeah,
me and
girl.
I'm like, all right, do you have a fork? Let me get a sparkling water. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's so impressive. How long has this journey taken?
Um, Getting back to the stage has been a challenge. I will say, right whenever I was going through my career transition, I tried to do it again in 2023. I did mess up my reverse, which is a very crucial part for bodybuilders. Whenever you go and you do a competition, the reverse is something that you do because your calories have gone down to such a low increment and your energy expenditure has gone up. You then have to kind of sort of like jump out of it and slowly gravitate towards normalcy again.
Hmm.
And I just did not do that the first time around. So it took me, when did I start back up officially? I took a year off and worked with a nutritionist just to like not let that be my focus. And then back in 2024 of November was whenever I signed on with my coach. And so it's been a full year
Okay.
process getting
So
back to the
a
stage.
year getting back to the stage.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And what is your like workout regimen look like? And your like diet regimen look like?
Yeah, so right now my workout regimen, we are in a reverse just because I did compete back in when was it? October 25th was
Hmm.
whenever I competed. And now that we're in the reverse, I do cardio 5 times a week for 35 minutes.
Hmm.
And then I have 5 weight training days a week right now.
Shit, girl. So you're working out Monday through Friday, pretty much. Like five.
Basically.
And what about when you're leading up to the competition? How much are you working out?
Ooh,
And
yeah.
what's your caloric intake like?
I don't know what my caloric intake is like for leading up because I don't like looking at the
Oh, okay.
numbers, but my coach gives me macros
Got
and
it.
the
Okay.
foods that I
Okay.
eat. So it's like if I don't have to think about it and I just am putting it in my
Yeah.
body, I'm like, okay, like that's what we're doing for
Got
now.
it. And what about your workouts?
I was doing an hour on the Stairmaster 6 times a week and
Oh
training
my
five
God.
times a week. So it was
Yeah,
it was a
that's
lot.
tough. So like one day off essentially.
Basically, one
And it
full day
and it's
off.
not no cheat day.
Yeah,
Like you're
no.
still eating very disciplined.
Yes.
Ooh, my goodness gracious. So how has bodybuilding impacted your confidence and mindset?
Bodybuilding, I think, is the thing that really saved me. Like,
Yeah.
I truly think so. Because, like I said, I think I just went through a lot of stuff in college where I was just very not confident in myself and I had a lot of doubts about who I could be. And so I put myself in a little box, essentially. And once I did my first bodybuilding show, that's what really showed me like, wow, you are a badass. You
Yeah.
can accomplish these things. You don't have to have people telling you that this is what you're meant to do or this is what you're meant to be. Like, it's you.
Hmm.
You are the deciding factor on how you get to live your life and the things that you get to do in this
Hmm.
world. And so that's just what really like made me jump off the ledge in a sense to go into entrepreneurship and just to continue doing the things that make me happy and just still figuring myself out because
Yeah.
let's face it, I'm not perfect. But
You're
like,
very young.
yes.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I just think in an overall sense, like, it gave me so much confidence to become the person that I am today. And I know that I'm gonna continue seeking growth in all of these different realms that I'm in right now.
And what advice would you give to someone who's considered like doing a bodybuilding competition?
I would say, first off, make sure that you are in the right mental headspace. You need to understand what is your why? Why is it that you want to do this? Because on the days whenever you do not have that
Mhm.
motivation, you always want to refer back to your why you got started in the first place on this goal. And, if it becomes a thing that is very challenging for you, always refer back to it. And I say go for it because everyone who has done it before has always found something new out about
Mhm.
themselves. And I always truly feel like by working on yourself and putting effort into yourself, you are becoming a better
A
person.
1000%.
Yeah. Whether it's something that becomes a part of your life or something that you just do one time, you know? It's like the people who will run a marathon or a
Right.
5K and it's like, oh, okay, I did that once. It was cool. Now I'm on to the next
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
And for you, is this something you see you want to do continuously? Is it like, do you have, I'm assuming you have to take some time off, right? And then, like, what's the time off? And then, like, what's the reset with that when you can kind of get back into and are there different goals and challenges with bodybuilding? Like, did you do a specific one and then there's like a next level or?
Yeah, so right now I'm an NPC bikini bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm.
The next goal for me would be to get my IFBB Pro card,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a whole different league that I would be jumping into. But in order to do that, that means I have to grow a lot.
Oh shit,
So,
girl, you're about to like get
mhm.
jacked. Oh my God. You're already like
Yeah.
ripped, but it's still that like, you just look like you work out 7 days a week and
Yeah.
eat insanely like healthy. And, so this is like, oh, this bitch is like, can body,
Like bench press
yeah, bench
man.
press me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that'll be the goal, but it does come with an off season. Like I
Okay.
think that in this next phase for me, we obviously need to reverse out, take a good off season and really just focus on like my career and different
Hmm.
things and enjoying life with some
Hmm.
people. And then we'll jump into a growth phase and then do it all over again.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And that typically is also a year.
Um
Is that
it
typical for people?
I think it varies from
Hmm.
person to person because we all have such different bodies.
True. Yeah.
Like, you never know how things are going to happen or how your body's going to respond.
Mhm.
So, it really is just whenever my coach tells me it's time to go again, then I'll be ready to do it. But until then, I'm like, let's enjoy this off
Yeah.
season. I'm ready for some soup dumplings
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then you had like what was that you thought you were like gonna be in a certain competition and then your coach said you're not ready. What was
Yes.
that? I bet I'm sure that was like what was that like and why? And
Yeah.
then what then made you reset and be ready? And
Y-
then so quickly thereafter.
Yeah. So I remember that my competition was supposed to happen right before my birthday.
Mhm.
So I had planned out my birthday event. The next week was going to be an off week, then a bachelorette, then a wedding,
Mm.
and then just like holidays and everything. So I was so excited for it. And about 2 weeks before, he told me, hey, you're not there yet. And it was the
Like what do
most
you mean not there? Physically, emotionally, mentally? Like
my
your
body.
body wasn't there yet.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
So the thing is within the bikini category, they're looking for um nice cap shoulders, a small frame waist, and then in your back pose, they want to see the glute hamstring tie-ins.
Mm.
And for me, my body holds fat mainly in the legs, and that's always the last to go. So that's just what we were waiting on.
Got it.
Yeah. And I had told him, I was like, Will, like, I've got all of these events happening. So if it's not now, then like I'm going to be prepping while I'm on these vacations
Yeah,
for other
yeah.
friends and trying to show up for them. Like, what do we do? And that's when it came full circle
Okay.
to the travel again.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And the discipline.
and the
Yeah.
discipline. Yeah. So, in those last few weeks, man, I have no idea how I did it,
Yeah.
but I did it.
Yeah.
And I was able to show up for my friends.
And I love that you documented that and shared that. And then I was like, oh my God, right before where you're like, I'm signing off, your face was so gaunt.
Yes. That's prep face.
That was wild.
Yeah.
Like no fat on you have it back already. You look
Yes.
healthy and gorgeous. But I was like, damn, that's brutal. You were like, I don't even have energy to make this video. I'm on like 500 calories. I'm working out twice a day, like signing off. And then you did your competition and placed second, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
freaking amazing. Yeah, it's so impressive.
Yeah.
So good job.
Thank you. And I'm very excited to see what comes next.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then I want to end on you're Native American.
Yes.
Girl, I thought you were Mexican. Like, I'm sure most people think you're Latina.
Oh.
So tell me about, what that is like. You're Choctaw?
Oh, no, I am
What
a
is it?
Coushatta.
Coushatta. Okay.
Yes.
That's what I meant to say. Mispronounced Coushatta.
You got the C right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're good on that.
Yeah. So tell me, what was that like? Like, how much is that a part of your identity? How much was it ingrained in you growing up or very little growing up? Give me kind of a background on that.
Yeah, so my mom is Coushatta. My dad is white,
Okay.
some type of white. I'm not sure what the white side is,
Mhm.
but I grew up in a small town called Orange, Texas, and would always be almost every single weekend going to the reservation in Louisiana to spend time with family and to be around like the tribe
Mhm.
basically. And to me, it was very normal just growing up. Like, we'd go to church, we'd listen to the language at church
Mhm.
service first, and then we would do the English version afterwards. I grew up going to powwows, which, for those of you who don't know what a powwow is, this is a gathering of the nations where they are doing drum competitions, they're doing dance competitions and selling beadwork and everything. And yeah, it was a very important part of my life, but I still didn't like grow up to where I can confidently say like I am 100% native.
Yeah.
I was almost like on the outskirts of it where I still got to dip my toe in, which is a lot more than many
Yeah.
people I think can say. So it was always like a big part of me, and something that I think whenever I have a family that I want to teach them about
Mhm.
and show them more about too.
And how do you feel like that has shaped you, your life, and you as an individual now?
I think it's made me very grateful coming from where I have and being in Austin now because, like, over there, it's so small town
Mhm.
city, like, very woodsy area, not much to do besides, like, obviously, we love hanging out with family, but, like, that's all that you do out
Mhm.
there is just, like, you go over for dinners and things like that. And so my grandmother was, we refer to our grandmother as Apple, and then our grandfather as an owl. And just growing up with them, they were always big about appreciating like
Mhm.
the little things in life. And so I think being around them and seeing that has just made me so appreciative of all of these big things that I'm getting to do.
Mhm.
And it keeps me, in a sense, a little bit more humble about everything that's
Mhm.
happening around me, too. So I don't think that it's anything that I'll ever step away from,
Mhm.
and I do enjoy every single year, like, going to the powwows and
Mhm.
going back to visit with family and bringing others with me to, like, kind of dive into my culture too is a
Yeah.
really, really cool thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you feel like growing up, were you around other kids that had the same, that were a part of the same tribe or no? Because I guess in Orange, was there a big population there?
Yeah, no, it
Okay,
was
so it was
just
only
my
when you
family.
traveled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So how was that, growing up?
Yeah, so it was a little different for me just because I think that my family wanted me away from the reservation just because there wasn't a lot to do over there and they wanted us to be able to like have different opportunities
Mhm.
besides just hanging out on the res. So I grew up in like the dance community and, at school doing all of these different things of the sort. So I think it was really cool because, in a sense, it almost felt like I was living a double
Right.
life
Mhm.
because I didn't really like share at the time. I didn't share as much about like my native culture and my history and like
Right.
have an appreciation for it like I
Mhm.
do today.
Right.
Yeah.
That's similar to kind of how I grew up. My mom's Mexican, my dad's Greek, and like I knew I was Mexican,
Hmm.
but I didn't grow up around that because we moved. My dad was U.S. Customs Border Protection. We moved 8 times. I was in Memphis, Tennessee, Columbus, Georgia,
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia. Like, no one speaks Spanish there, no one like, but I knew I was Mexican. We would visit my mom's family and same with the Greek side. My dad was like a very proud Greek.
Mhm.
And so it wasn't until I moved to El Paso when I was in high school where I was like around Mexicans,
Yeah.
and I'm grateful for it because I got to learn a lot about my culture.
Mhm.
And now as an adult, I'm so appreciative of it. I'm so proud of it. Like, I taught myself Spanish because I didn't grow up with it in the house.
Yeah.
Not that it's very good Spanish, but I can communicate. And so, yeah, like I totally identify with that. But I think it's
Mhm.
incredible. It's obviously a part of who you are, even if it's not like your forefront and way of living.
Yeah.
I definitely, know that you honor it. And I think it's so important, especially, yeah, it's tough. Like when you're not around people friend that has shares similar culture as
Mhm.
you, it's like you do kind of live a double life, but then at the same time, it's like the beauty of America, right? And like the melting pot and the
Oh,
different
yeah.
cultures and nationalities, and the more you can hang on to that, the better, right?
No, for sure. And yeah, that's just part of it too. Like I forgot that you were part Greek as
Yeah.
well. Man, that's so crazy. Uh
You see the Mexican more because I'm
yeah.
with my mom's side of the family all the time. But then and my dad passed away too. My dad
Okay.
was still living. He'd be all up in my stories, girl, making pastizio and like at the Greek festivals. My dad
Oh,
was like very heavily involved in the Greek church.
yeah.
He drove an Electron blue Corvette and his license plate said Greek. Like, yeah, everyone would know a lot
No.
more that I was Greek if my dad was still alive. But I'm
Yeah.
always with like the primas and my mom and like that side of the family. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm around more. That's what I present more. But I am Greek and proud of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on today. I just love you. And I just wanted to share your story. You're so motivating. And I hope this motivated you. Ladies in your 20s, 30s, 40s, anyone, you can always reinvent and redefine yourself. And you've done that a few times. And you
Mhm.
certainly motivate my ass to work out a lot harder. Like your body transformation, it already was incredible. And then just to see that transformation is like, wow.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye, guys.